Monarch. Alright, happy Saturday morning. Not doing much of an intro this morning. I'm just hitting the road because I'm late. I had to fix the battery in this thing. Had the old Western Power Sports lithium in it. I forget what they call it, firepower or something like that, that I killed through repeated discharges and running downs. So I put the NOCO in here this morning, but the NOCO terminals are totally different. They're these weird L bracket looking top posts, and they've got, you know, posts on the sides and the top and all over the place, so they don't fit with the original battery cable lugs, whatever you want to call them, the little curved metal U-shaped bars and all that. They don't fit on there, so I had to bend those down. And then the other issue was the hole, you know, for the screw is a larger diameter on the NOCO, so I had to drill those battery clamps out and flatten them to where they would fit on top. So I've been out here farting with that for 20 minutes, sweating in the humidity, getting that all sorted out to where the battery tray would fit back over the top of it. And now I'm on the road. Fill this thing up, man. They need to cut their yard. I'm gonna go fill this thing up because it's a little low, and I'll head on into the Memorial Park area. Leave this at my buddy's place while we go downtown and work again. I don't even know what time it is, 9:30? Yeah, 9:40. I was hoping to be there by now, so I'm at least 30 minutes behind schedule. On that side are full, but I'll see if my spot is available. Maybe it is, what do you know? My spot. My spot. It's an old habit from hypermiling decades ago, you know, trying to get accurate stats and everything. You refuel from the same pump, ideally around the same time of day, because of temperature, fuel density fluctuations, etc., etc. So eliminate any and all variables you can to try to isolate what parts of your driving habits you're changing by hypermiling. Please lift nozzle. Okay. This thing hasn't had a drink of fresh go-go juice in a while. Yeah, it's not going to take much of a drink. That's more of a sip. Whoa, over the top, spilling out. And 57, yeah, that's, they're still going to have to stay. Half a gallon. Neil sent me a tank extension block for this, kind of a blank to test with, a buck you would call it. It's a welding buck. So I'm going to pull the plastics off of this thing maybe tomorrow and see if I can fit that wedge or the block in around behind this and figure out if that fits. If it does, he has another tank for this that he's going to cut out and weld up and give me at least another half a gallon, maybe more. We'll see. Can't get my arm in here. I can never get this. There we go. Be sure and reset my trip meter here. Okay. Oh, it's hot today. Good God. I think it's like 96% humidity right now. I closed my visor just a second ago, and when I came outside, and it instantly fogged up. So, got to be right at the dew point. It's hot. It's going to be a very hot day. It was raining overnight. off and on, and apparently we've got more. Hey, it starts right up. We've got more rain coming this afternoon, so I'm going to be soggy balling it because I did not put my lightweight rain suit in here. So, oh well, I'll get wet. As long as I don't get wet on the way to work, I'm okay. On the way back, it's fine. I'll be soggy, I don't care. Woo, buddy, it feels good to get moving. People that aren't from the Gulf Coast, Houston, all down here in the southern part of Texas, you know, within, let's say, 75 miles of the coast, just don't understand how friggin' hot it is here. It's not the heat that gets you, it's the humidity. And the humidity is just unbearable because you can't sweat enough to cool off. You get into heat stroke pretty easily. That's why these power outages after the hurricane have been such a problem. There are still some areas now, almost 2 weeks later, that still do not have power. A lot of people didn't get power until 8 or 9 days after the event. So, you know, no power, no water in some cases, because, you know, high rises and apartments and stuff like that oftentimes need pumps to circulate above a certain height. So, yeah, crazy. People in Florida kind of know how this is. They live right on the edges of the giant swamp, just like we do. And then, of course, the ocean on the other side of the peninsula. For as crappy as these tires are on this bike, I don't like them. They're slippery, they're terrible on the wet, but they hold air really well. It's an odd thing to say as a feature or a benefit of a tire, because you kind of expect them to hold air, but most tires leak down, especially motorcycle tires. These things, man, I don't know what the deal is. They're like impervious to leaking. I haven't checked or aired these things up in a year, and I just put the gauge on them at home, and the front was only about 3 or 4 pounds low, and the rear was 3 pounds low. After a year, damn. I mean, you get atmospheric fluctuation that can do that. Bumpity bump bump. Ugh. I never did finish my shopping routine for this bike because other projects took precedence, and now money is tight, so I'm not buying anything extra. But I was looking at tires to put on it. I think they were the Maxxis. They were kind of a slightly off-roady looking tire, but people gave them really high reviews on longevity, so I thought that might be interesting. Whatever I do, I'll certainly put a wider rear tire on it. I'll probably get the 12-inch hoop from the front wheel and put it on the back and do a I think it's 110 or 120 millimeter wide rear or something like that. Fits in there. It just has to be low profile, like 70 ratio or something, to clear the swing arm housing or the, you know, the engine housing in the front. And there's a tiny bit of grinding that has to happen at the front right corner. There's a angled case extrusion right there. It's not really I guess it's kind of a stiffening rib for the aluminum case, but it's really chunky and could be radiused out just a little bit, which is what a lot of owners have done that have decided to put wider, bigger rear tires on these things. Just a little bit of grinding, nothing major. Only like 1/8 of an inch, I think, maybe a 1/4 inch, just in the area where the tire gets close to it and can swell under rotational expansion. That's it. I'd rather do something that doesn't involve grinding or modifying, but yeah, whatever. It's a cheap bike, right? Well, let me rephrase that. It's cheap right up to the point that you screw something up, like, you know, the engine housing, and then you have to tear it apart to replace that whole unit, because that would get real expensive real fast. Almost, you know, probably approaching the value of the bike itself. So yeah, gotta be careful with those mods. Ruh-roh. Accident? Oh, a big accident. What's going on here? Oh, yeah, I see debris on the pavement here. This ain't great. People are speeding too fast through here. That's all there is to it. Yikes, that's a slammo. Break any tires. Can't tell which piece is what. And they had a kid in the car. Can't tell what's damaged. It must be on the passenger side. That's not a great way to start a Saturday morning. I hope everybody's okay. The smell of trash truck in the morning. Yeah, that's safe. We're doing that in the neighborhood at low speed, okay, but 40 miles an hour for extended distances, yeah, not the smartest. With tennis shoes just barely perched on that little step. Okie dokie. Hope you got good upper body strength. Good grip. Hang on to that bar. Sign back there on the set said, "In road work." Yeah, where? What do you mean? Which part of Houston? It's always under construction. It's always under road work. I'm hungry. I had late breakfast yesterday, and that was it. What was it? 10:30, 11. So brunch, essentially. That's it. That's all I had. No more food. Starting to get a little hungry. My wife was prepping some meat for the smoker when I left. I was going to put it in before I left, but I don't know what time I'm coming back, and I don't know that they'll have presence of mind, let's call it, to monitor the smoker and not let the stuff overcook, so I'll put it in when I get back. It's going to take a few hours, so that'll be for dinner tonight, I guess, or potentially lunch tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to have for breakfast this morning. Anything would be good. Just a regular plain old breakfast would be fine, like 3 or 4 eggs and coffee and toast, and yeah. Not timed with the lights today. Same problem yesterday. Hit every light yesterday. I think I might have gone through 1 or 2. But yeah, there's a ton through here. A 1 or 2 success rate is not good. Some mornings it just works. Just cruise right on in. Never even have to stop except to make that first turn onto the feeder road and just cruise on through. I usually get stopped up there at the Beltway. It's hard to make the timing on that one because it's such a long light double intersection, so they've got all the lights staggered in a weird way, so it's not a speedy one to get through. That's why when I'm on the Super Cub or the smaller bikes that can do 60 miles an hour, I'll jump up and avoid that intersection. I'll do a on and off on the highway for a couple of miles just so I don't have to sit in it. Not this one, man. If the highway is totally clogged, complete rush hour gridlock, then I might take it up there because people aren't going over 40, 45 at best. Hell, I took this thing up there in rush hour one morning. I was all the way over in the far left lane, the fast lane, and I was lapping traffic. Navi was lapping rush hour traffic, man. Wake up. Money? No, not too bad. Mail-in ballots, probably. Feels like the vents are closed on this helmet, but they're not. It's so hot out here. Finally made one. This is a very long, slow commute this morning. It's already 10, I'm sure. 10:15. Should have been out at 30 minutes already. And I'm only right at halfway there. This is painful, man. I'll probably take this thing back to the warehouse today. Swap for the 500X or the Rebel. With the 500, I get more mileage out of that, so I'll run the 500 for a while. I've been scooting around on the little mini-motos for the last week or two, I guess. Just giving them some exercise, and I'm not saving all that much money as far as fuel costs are concerned, but just a change of pace. But mornings like this, it doesn't pay off. All I have at home right now are the small bikes and the ones that need work on. I don't have any other big bikes there, except for my son's, but I leave that there for him to ride. Yeah, I might make another one. Woohoo! Look at that. Wasn't 2 in a row, but 2 in the span of a mile ain't too bad. Demolished back there now. That restaurant was a staple of the Houston community for decades and decades. I forgot the name of it, but it was a Mexican restaurant. Very nice. It was always rented out for weddings and, you know, big parties, business groups, stuff like that. And a little bit after the big highway expansion came through here on I-10 back, oh God, 10, 15 years ago, however long that was, I think almost 15 years now, that restaurant closed, and I think that they were under the impression that all of that was under eminent domain, or maybe it is, I don't know, but anyway, it sat there abandoned and unused for many years, and then the building got knocked down, but they left that big arch at the front, which was like the valet area, I think. Every food place I pass looks good. Shipley's. I was thinking about donuts and kolaches. Not healthy, but tastes good. Ah, Jesus, just missed it. Oh my God, this is I think this is probably the most I've been stopped in this stretch of road in a couple of years. Just every single fucking light. It's like the timings are set for north-south today instead of east-west, which doesn't make sense. Right along a east-west thoroughfare, a highway, even the access road should prefer the same direction of travel. We're out of sync today. I don't know what's up. Ah, it feels good to get moving. It's just a sauna today. High 80 degrees already, low 90s, and really high humidity. I'm not waiting for any more of these lights. I'll take my chances on the other streets. If it turns green, I take it. If not, I go right. Eeny, meeny, miny. Eeny, meeny, miny. Meeny, miny, miny, eeny, meeny. No. Not gonna make that light either. Nope. And this light doesn't detect motorcycles, so I'm going to have to wait till nobody's coming and fake it, because it's never going to see me. And this one is on pads. I've been stuck at this light many a minute. Another scooter. Is that a Maybach in front of me, or just a Mercedes? The extended body and that two-tone roof looks like the Maybach. It's the right neighborhood for it. Oh, tell me I'm going to make it. I don't want to stop. Good, made this one. Oh, yeah. So what is this? It's just a Mercedes. Yeah, it is Maybach. I was right. Man, nailed that at a distance. S680 Maybach. They got some money. A whole lot more than this po white boy. No footer, no footer, no footer, no footer, no footer. That's a really nice car. No footer. Come on, you dumb shits. Still no footer. Oh, I made it. There was an 8-second delay on that genius figuring out, oh, it's a green light. Man, this thing always smells so rich. One of these days I'll get the carburetor done on it. I've got a brand new carburetor sitting in the box. Factory fresh. Just haven't pulled it apart. I was mentioned it before, but I was wanting to do a scientific test on the process and put a wideband O2 in the exhaust and look at where it's running right now, because I guarantee it's down in the 9 or 10 range. It's so rich. But the exhaust pipe is so small on that thing, I have to have a shop weld up an extension bung on there just to hang the O2 sensor off that little soda straw header. So I might have somebody do that, and I'll do the test and then drill out the Welch plug on this carburetor and try to fix whatever the fueling issue is, you know, being so far off of where it should be, and then try the factory fresh carburetor and see if it's different than what this one has been running at. I mean, it's not a difficult process at all. None of this is difficult, but videoing it and trying to demonstrate the process and all that, that's what makes things so hard. And if I didn't want to do the wideband O2 route, then, you know, just tune it by feel and by smell. If I wanted to get real fancy, I could look at cylinder head temperatures or exhaust gas temperature and figure out if I'm too rich or lean. But, you know, for these small motors, you're not talking about massive performance swings or anything like that. You can feel kind of where they're at, if they're running too rich or too lean. Rejetting the carburetor and playing with needle height and stuff like that, it can take about anywhere from 4 to 8 tries to get everything right, depending on how you're doing your testing. But yeah, it's not hard. Just a little bit labor intensive because you got to pull it all apart, and with these scooters the carburetor is really buried in there behind all the, you know, the wheel flap and everything, so a little hard to get at it. If I ever get another exhaust for this thing, I was hoping maybe I could work with Kaufman's and get some kind of a smaller free-flowing exhaust, but haven't had a chance to even think about that project other than just mentioning it in passing a couple times. But if I were to put a different exhaust on it, that's when you want to do your carburetor tuning. And if this thing is already running rich as it is, then opening up the intake and the exhaust would give it more air and lean it out. So it might actually end up closer to where it should be with a freer flowing exhaust. I need to check the final drive oil in this thing. I've noticed that the rear gears sound a little bit noisier than I remember them being. So it's got 1,850 miles on the clock. Pretty much nothing, but I'll go ahead and drain that oil out. I need to probably do another oil change on it anyway. It's only got maybe not even 1,000 miles on this oil, but it's been sitting around for a long time, so some of the oil can get a little bit acidic and nasty after time, so yeah, I might as well swap it out. Ugh, bump. Ugh. Do the rear diff at the same time. So when I get home, I need to go grab a bag of charcoal and get ready to fire up the smoker, hang the meat. My wife got a small brisket and something else that she wanted to smoke up this weekend, so it's my task. I'm trying to decide if I want to stop at the warehouse and swap out for the 500X or just ride this one on home. Don't know. I'll see how traffic looks. This thing stinks. It's so rich. Man, too bad this isn't smell-o-vision. I could explain it so much better. It's so rich. Every time you come to a stop on this thing, it's a mix between a lawnmower and 70s Chevelle. It's so eye-wateringly rich. Surprised the thing idles. I mean, it hunts up and down quite a bit just sitting here at idle, but whew. That's why I was never able to figure out how this thing was imported to the US with emission standards being what they are. This thing has no catalyst. It's carbureted. I mean, come on. 2 major strikes. No ABS, you know, combined braking if you want to call it that. It's more like Flintstone braking, but it works. Regal IMAX Cinema. I haven't seen a movie in forever. It's been months, probably 6 months now, at least. There hasn't really been much out at the theater I've been interested in seeing. There were a couple, but I don't remember what they were. It's been too long now, and they're certainly not in the theater anymore. Just haven't been interested in mass media entertainment lately. I'll stream movies off of Netflix or Amazon or something like that, but not even any new movies. There's really nothing I've been interested in at all. Some of the older series and older movies, I'll queue those up for nostalgia or whatever, comedies and stuff for a laugh, but I don't know. Everything has gotten so politically motivated and woke and all that. It's like every movie that has come out has some kind of social message it's trying to push. I don't want to be preached to. Go f*** yourself. I want entertainment. I want to disconnect from modern problems and just be entertained. I don't want to be indoctrinated, and I don't want to be preached to. I already know what the world's troubles are and who's peddling what. Yeah, just stick it on over there. Don't bother looking before you change lanes. For a little while, I was watching The Boys on Amazon. I watched the first couple seasons. I wasn't real happy with the third season. It's way too much LGBTQ, XYZ, blow it out your ass, TIA. And the latest season Season 4 has been a lot more of the same, and I gave up watching it. I can't watch it. The story was interesting at first, the whole premise of, you know, weaponizing superheroes into bad guys and stuff like that. It's a radical departure on the whole superhero theme, but once it got political and trying to preach messages and whatnot, I'm not interested. Click, change the channel. So many of the good sci-fi series and you know, alternate timeline stuff, interesting stuff, you know, that things that really haven't been done before, they never really get anywhere, you know, not at least to completion where the story kind of plays itself out. They always die after the first or second season. The networks choose to not re-up them or whatever, and you waste hours watching the first couple chapters of a story and then it's gone. All right. It's all mindless fantasy anyway, so I've just kind of lost my taste for burning time in it for nothing. I'm debating. Yeah, I'll go ahead and ride this home. It's going to be rainy later today through tomorrow. It looks like next week is shaping up to just be a slosh fest, so I should probably get a bike that can do the rain a little bit better, but I can always ride the Cub into the warehouse and swap. It's got Michelin Pilot Street on it, so they're good tires. They handle the rain okay. So that would at least get me from here to there, or there to here rather, and swap for a different steed that's a little more capable, a little more sure-footed. I could always ride the Trail. It's got the off-road tires on it. Those knobbies, they've got pretty good traction in the wet. Certainly won't hydroplane. Oh boy. Ah, thank you, cloud. It's like 10 degrees difference instantly, just without the sun beating down on the top of you. What time is it anyway? 3:15. My wife and son are picking up my daughter from Hobby Airport right now, hopefully. I almost screwed up, man. I took her and dropped her off at the airport last Sunday, and I thought that I was picking her up again on Sunday. I don't know how I screwed that up in my head. I was thinking Sunday to Sunday, but it was Sunday to Saturday. So I had a oh shit panic moment at about 12:15 this afternoon. I'm on a job, rode this to get to work, so certainly can't go pick her up on this. So I'm panicking, trying to call my wife and my son to answer their phones and let them know, hey, we got to go get Bella from the airport. And nobody's answering their phones. I mean, neither one of them. Trying to call my wife, my son, and my youngest daughter on her little phone that she uses for playing games and stuff. Nobody's answering. So I fired up Alexa, because you can do the drop-in thing, and you can, you know, at least listen and talk to an Alexa device in your house. And yeah, nobody's answering that either. Nobody's paying attention. I'm like, oh God. So I was going to have to commandeer my buddy to take me to the airport to pick up my daughter. And he said, oh yeah, we can do it, no problem. So finally, at the last moment, when I'm just about to give up working and go pick her up, my wife called me back saying, I missed your call. Yeah, you did, like 14 of them. Oh, they finally put cones and stuff up here to stop people from making that a straight through lane. It's a turn only. And I'm going to cheat for one exit. No, two. That section through there on the weekends, oh God, avoid it like the plague. Anybody from the Houston area will tell you. Gessner, I-10 area on the weekends, all the way past Beltway 8. It sucks. Because the mall is right over here, Memorial City Mall, and oh man, is the traffic crazy. You'll end up sitting at a couple of these lights for 5 minutes each, 10 minutes each. On a bike, no thanks. Ooh, he's a big boy. Don't change lanes on me. Don't change lanes on me. I can't wait. You're going to have to stay in that lane. We'll use you as a blocker is what I'll do. Too fast. Hurry up and wait, dumb. Nice job, asshole. Holy hell, it's hot. If I had any extra money, I would stop at the liquor store and get me some Long Island iced tea today. But I can't spend it. My Navi's beating the BMW. Yeah, that rain's coming. Forecast said 4 o'clock, and that looks like it's just about on schedule. Maybe I'll stop over there at Walmart for that blood drive thing, donate some plasma so I can go buy some Long Island iced tea. Trade my plasma for some booze. Hey, Riker. With a really loud stereo. Dang, cranking along 54. I didn't realize I was going that fast. I'm not quite wide open. It's still got a little bit left. But that doesn't mean it's going to go any faster. Kind of runs out of steam at 53, 54. That's it. I don't know if it's... I think it's CDI. I think it's ignition because it gets up close to an ignition cutoff point. You can feel it slow down when it gets over about 54. So it's not like it just maintains that speed. It actively slows down, so that tells me it's some kind of a rev limiter. But it's super loud. I think the noise is from the rear tire. It's a resonance on the rear tire. I thought a while back that it might be belt resonance in the CVT, and that could still be part of it, but I hear a lot of tire hum, just probably doesn't come through on the camera. I'll put some fresh tires on here eventually. Better tires. There's the Riker. Stuck at many more of these lights, and the camera is most likely going to shut down from overheat. I'll tell you, I'm about to shut down from overheat. And I pass by this Waffle House all the time, and in all the years that I've lived here in Houston, I've only gone to that one time in 25 plus years. I know this guy's gonna step over on top of me.